it's been a while since I've been on live, and I promise y'all, I know I say every time I'm on live, like, I'm not going to be on here long. I'm seriously not going to be on here long. But I just wanted to, like, this is so amazing to me. So I'm like, I got to go live so I can share it with y'all. I am out here today. We are in Georgia Zone 8A, and it's a nice day today. I think it's about 66, maybe 64, something like that. But if you're not subscribed to the channel, y'all subscribe because I'm going to do a raised bed garden tour. I just finished up with the last of the raised beds. So we got all 8 raised beds planted. I got to put some Sluggo Plus on one of the raised beds. And it's a couple of plants that I planted that are struggling just a little bit, but we're still going to do a garden tour. I want y'all to see like the early spring. But what I'm on here today, and again, I'm not going to be long because I have a goal that I'm trying to meet before I go inside today. But the title of the live is like building healthy soil. And y'all know I always say, the life of the garden, seriously, is in the soil. Like if you start taking care of your soil, building healthy soil, then the plants will take care of themselves. And so a lot of people say, well, how do you build healthy soil? Well, this is what I wanted to show y'all because I just planted some beets here. And I just planted a few cabbage. Y'all know if you're new to the way I garden, I'm always going to do vegetables, flowers, herbs as much as possible. So we planted some violas right here. The chives are coming back up. I gave them a good chop probably earlier this year because you could see some of the little ones coming back up. So we gave them a good chop. The parsley is fall planted parsley. So I just planted some celery and some cabbage. But as I was planting the beets, this is why I was like, I gotta show them because here in Georgia, the Atlanta area, is red clay. And when I say red clay, I mean seriously red clay. It's compacted, it's red clay, and the ground was really hard when we got here. And I have been working with this soil. And so some of the things that I have been doing is doing things like adding gypsum to the soil. And then I've also been adding like compost. Now I'm not going to add any with the early spring. I'm not going to do that, but I just want to show you like with me adding the gypsum in the soil and with me adding compost, like it's really starting to look like garden soil. Because when I first dug this area, y'all, I wish I could just show y'all another part of the garden. It was red clay. It's seriously red clay. But one of the things that I did was when I first got here is I went ahead and I got a soil test done. I knew I had red clay and I knew I was going to work with the soil. And this is what I want to tell y'all. It's not that red clay is bad. It's not that sandy soil is bad because we moved from the Savannah area, which had really sandy soil. But it's just that you want to find that happy medium. And so the way I explain it to people is the red clay, it has a lot of minerals in it, but it holds water a little bit too much. And if it holds too much water, that's where like the root rot sets in. And then like sandy soil, it drains really good, but you're going to lose nutrients a little bit faster. So you want to find like a happy medium. I won't get into the whole soil structure with sand, clay, silt, loamy. I won't get into that. But what I wanted to share with you is when I first got here, I started adding gypsum immediately to the red clay because gypsum kind of breaks up that compacted red clay. And then y'all know that I like Soil 3. The company, they really service the southeast area, but I would get them each season, one in spring, one in fall. I would get them, they would come bring out the soil. And so I would just put about 2 inches of compost on top of the soil. And so I'm going to continue to do that, but I'm not going to do it this time. This is like, let me tell you all about, if you're not from Georgia, let me tell you about how the Georgia weather works. So you remember me saying that we were up in the 80s, but they started putting out tomatoes at the store. And so I went and I did a video and I said, do not be fooled. Do not be fooled, because it's not time quite yet for tomatoes. And I'm talking about zone 8A. And then your soil temperature matters as well, because your plants can struggle if you put them in too soon. And I always tell people what my mom says, the Easter snap. And lo and behold, yes, I am correct. So next week, we're going to get down to, I think it said 31. And it may be even lower than that. Y'all know how that weather app changes every day. But next week, I think it's going to get down to 31. So like the other day, it was in the 40s, but when you looked at the weather app, it said it felt like 31. So that's why I was telling people, if you're in the Atlanta area, do not be fooled quite yet with them putting out tomatoes and peppers, because it's not quite time. I'm still putting out leafy greens, y'all. I'm still putting those out. I just planted some celery over here. These are beets that we just planted. This, I really wanted to get on here and show y'all the soil. So we've been here since 23, and I have been working on it. So this is what I say when I mean, like, you got to work with the soil. It's not a one and done. It's not going to happen in one season. But some of the things that I have been doing is putting gypsum in the soil to break down that clay. And I've also been putting, like, every season about 2 inches of compost on here. And so when I started to dig today, I was like, I gotta show them, because this is what, don't get me wrong, like, if I dig a little bit deeper, we still got red clay. Don't get me wrong. You see, we still got, like, if I go down in here really deep, but it's looking good. We still got remnants of red clay right here. Like, we still have it, but based on when I first started, when I got here, I'm like, this is looking good. And there's nothing wrong with clay soil, but you don't want it to be compacted to where it's not draining, because clay soil has a lot of minerals in it. And so you need those nutrients and everything. So you just want a good proportion of it. But I was like, I gotta show them. So we're still doing our early, these are fall planted parsley that I started from seed. We're still doing our early spring vegetables. And that's what I was saying. So in Georgia, they'll give you what's called a fall spring. So it'll be like last week, it'll be like in the 80s. It's going to cool down a little bit. It's going to rain some more. But then we do have like a really limited spring. So it's probably going to feel like spring for about 2 to 3 weeks. And then it's immediately going to go to like feeling like summer. So that's why, and I'm almost done, but I'm serious, y'all. Y'all are going to get a garden tour. But this is why I have been putting these trellises up, because remember I said I put the trellises up. So if it's cold weather, I could put my frost blankets on there. But if it's hot, then I can also put my shade cloth on here. And so what I'm going to do is I have these set up so that I could put my shade cloth on here, because with the lettuces, with the cabbage, if it starts getting too hot, then they will bolt and they will go to seed. See, that's what I was just pulling from the fall. So I just had some fall planted broccoli. Let me show y'all what it looks like when they go to seed. Oh, I could just walk over here because we got to redo this bed as well. But we planted collards, broccoli, different things like that. Y'all remember when we had temperatures up into the 80s, in the 70s, we had fluctuation of temperatures. And so everything that was fall planted, not everything, but some of it, because this didn't do it. But see, these are the fall planted ones. So they're bolting and they're going to seed. Now we are going to put some early spring greens. I just planted some cabbage. We did red cabbage. I just harvested some carrots. I got radishes that are coming up. But what I do know is that they've been in here since about these have been in here since about late September, October. And so all of the fluctuation, everything that made them bolt, that made them go to seed. These are our fall planted. But what I've done right here is this is my spring planted. And so this is why you see the supports up here, because I got kale. Y'all, I was going to talk bad. So please, let me just go ahead and say, Lord, please forgive me. Because I said, if these seed tapes don't come up with my bunching onions, I'm going to write the seed company. But we had a good rain yesterday morning, about 4 o'clock in the morning. I just heard like a good rainfall. And so the seeds are coming up for the green onions. But these are fall planted greens right here. And so what I'm going to do, because again, we're in Georgia, we're in zone A, we're in the Atlanta area, the weather is going to be playing tricks. And so to prevent them from bolting, because it also depends on the variety. Like some varieties can take a little bit more heat than other ones, but I'm just prepped and I'm prepared so that if it starts creeping back up in the 80s, so next week it's supposed to be in the upper 50s and 60s. So I'm okay with that. I'm not going to put it, but when it starts creeping up into the upper 70s, 80s, that's when I'm going to come in and I'm going to put my shade cloth on. We have those and they're ready to go. But I wanted to show y'all that because let me share with you something that I was on live the other night about, and I've been coming out here every day checking, and everything seems to be working. Oh, this is why I say you got to develop a routine in your garden and come out here and check. So this is pak choi right here. And so when I immediately planted this pak choi, I started noticing like pest damage. But when I first pulled up the bed, pulled up the straw mulch, with the beds, it was like a lot of snails and slugs, pill bugs, a lot of those there. And so what I did, you might can see the remnants. It did rain, but I put down like the Sluggo Plus. Like I went crazy just sprinkling it. We still got a little bit, but I could tell the growth, and I can tell that the slugs and snails are backing up. Like they're backing back just a little bit. So that's good. Like this was the beginning on it of it when I planted it, and I was like, okay, we're not about to start with this. So I came out, I sprinkled the Sluggo like all over. So you'll see like little pellets all over the soil. I even put some like I just sprinkled it. So I can tell that it is working. But this is how I know it's slug and snails. Whenever you start seeing like things that look slimy, y'all probably can't see it real good here. These are our salvias. I'm okay with that. If y'all ever heard of trap crop, like I rather for them to get on the salvia. So it's almost like they diverted. They left the pak choi alone, but from the shininess and the sliminess of the leaves, I wish y'all could see because it doesn't look like it's coming in good. It's like they moved over here, and I'm okay with that. I'm all right. But I just don't want them to be getting my vegetables like that. And the same thing here. Like I put the Sluggo Plus because it's supposed to be for pill bugs. It's supposed to be for all of that. So I put that all over here. And I had diatomaceous earth on everything. But what I want y'all to remember is every time it rains, it's going to wash that diatomaceous earth off. And so I know that it's going to rain again, I think either Monday or Tuesday. I'm not even going to put it on because it's going to wash it right off again. So I always check my weather app to just kind of see like when is the next rain supposed to come, this, that, the other. And I'm not even going to waste my time because it's going to wash it off. But I am going to come out and check. These are our Asian mixed lettuce blend. And to be honest, y'all, like if I really, 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 really wanted to and like really wanted a salad, I can go ahead, I can start harvesting these because one of the things that I'm going to share in the video is sometimes I plant a lot of things closer together because my intention is to leaf off of it. It's not to let it continue to grow and then like harvest the whole head. Now I may let the pak choi, I may like let a couple just go ahead and grow into like the full size. But I always plant like lettuce a little bit closer together because my intention is to leaf off of it. Let me show you a great example. And I also want y'all to see this patio container. We did a video on it, and I want y'all to see how it's growing. But I also want you to see that you don't need like a huge space to start growing. Just pick something that you like and just grow it. So I planted these a little bit closer together. We're gonna have like a part one and a part two because I don't want the video to be like extremely long. So we're gonna start off with the raised bed garden tour. Then we're gonna do like our in-ground. So we'll do it like that. But this is what I wanted to share with y'all. So the other week, so we started off, this was our first one. This is the romaine lettuce. This is the thyme. These are the violas. But a lot of people, like if you look at the tag, it might say 6 to 12 inches apart. But because I know I'm going to leaf off of this romaine lettuce, which means I'm going to start harvesting the outer leaves. I'm not going to harvest the whole head, and I'm going to just let the middle continue to grow. So that's what I call leaf off. We use it a lot, like when we harvest the collard greens and everything. It's like we're leafing off of it. And so we have those in a container, but I'm going to step back because this, I want to say, if y'all have been with me for a while, these were a clearance find at Walmart. And when I tell you, I think I might have paid like $15 for these, but I think they're like 18 by 18. 18 inches in length, maybe about 6 inches. No, 18 inches in width, 18 inches length, maybe 6 inches width, and maybe about 6 inches height. It's not big, so I'm going to step back. But in here, we have our spinach growing, our garlic chives that makes the beautiful white flowers, pollinators, and then we have our violas that are growing. So this is kind of like a green and white patio container because of the garlic chives. When they flower, they're white. And then I planted the spinach close together because if I make a salad, like I could take these right now, we can just have like we could just mix our salad with what I just showed you with the Asian blend, maybe some romaine lettuce over here, and maybe some spinach. And you get to create like that. You create whatever you want to when you grow it yourself. You don't have to settle for what's at the grocery store, like that. And then over here, these flowers are very fragrant. I think they're wallflowers. I think these are wallflowers that are blooming. Cilantro we planted from seed, and then our rosemary that is coming back. How do you treat ants in the garden beds? I have ants like in the front yard. I don't necessarily have them in my raised beds or the garden beds. But one of the things that I used to do is, let me tell you, somebody told me when I was in Savannah, I tried it. I could say it was a decrease, but I'm not going to say it eliminated everything because if you're just joining us, we do not put like synthetic chemicals on our plants. I'll use diatomaceous earth. I'll do like an insecticidal soap. I might do neem oil, and BT, Bacillus thuringiensis. That's about as far as I go. But somebody had suggested to get grits and put them in there. That seemed to work a little bit. Then another person suggested to take part of the mound from one and put it on the other one, like another mound, and it's like they fight or something like that. But what I can tell you is when I did like the dried grits, that did help a little bit. But I'll just be honest with you, like we don't necessarily, and I'm gonna knock on wood on this one since we got our wood thing. we don't necessarily have fire ants. They're in the front yard and they're making mounds, but they're not like back here in the garden or in the beds or things like that. So I know that in Savannah we had that issue, and I tried some grits and they seem to work okay. But the whole point of me doing this live, and I'm gonna try my best to get that video up of our raised bed tour part 1. I'm gonna try to get that up by Sunday. So if you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button. But what I wanted to tell you is that when I started to dig to plant the beets in here, and I still got a little bit more to plant. I got some beets to plant, and I also have a little bit more romaine lettuce to plant. But just the soil, just me working with it, just like the difference between when I first used my shovel to dig it up versus now, this is what I mean. And so what I'm going to do, I'm probably not going to do it this spring, y'all. Let me just be honest with you. But probably in the fall, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and get another sample, a soil test done. So I'm going to send the University of Georgia Agriculture Extension Office. I'm going to give them another sample because one of the main things when I first got here and I sent my soil in, one of the main things based on what I was growing is they were like, you need to add lime. And so I've been adding a lot of lime to the soil as well, because the thing that you want to be specific about is if you do get a soil test, no matter what state you're in, tell them specifically what you plan on growing. When I gave them the soil sample, I was like, I'm going to grow some vegetables, I'm going to grow some herbs, I am going to grow some flowers, and it's going to change. But a lot of times your soil for vegetables, flowers, herbs, except for the berries, should be around really 6 to 7. 5.5 you probably could get away with, but you really want it to be between 6 and 7. And so one of the things that they had me do is to add some lime in there. The other nutrients, they were pretty good. They can't measure the nitrogen because it changes from like a day to day. So they don't give you a measurement on that. Like you could send it in one day and then like you might get it tested again in a week and it could be totally different. But the lime was the one thing that I have been adding. And I've been adding, I think it's called like the Dolomite lime. So it's kind of like that fine powder. And it has calcium and it has magnesium in there. And then y'all know I put the slow release fertilizer in here. I'll keep my eggshells, I'll blend them and crush them and powder them up. So I've been doing things like that. So I've been putting compost in here. I've been putting lime in here. I've been putting crushed eggshells in here, and just really working with it. But I could tell that my efforts, they're really paying off. Like they're paying off because when I get ready to break ground again on another part of the garden, I'm going to like take a picture and show y'all. Like when I first took the shovel and tried to dig in this soil, it was horrible. And going to one of the courses that I went to about a couple of weeks ago with the University Extension Office, where they talked about the layers of the soil, is we really don't have what you would call a topsoil. It I don't even think it's an inch. It may be like a half an inch or a fourth an inch. And then you just have like the red clay. So just off of that, what I started with and what I'm working with now. And remember, y'all, it takes years, it takes seasons to build like soil for you to grow in based on what you want to grow. So give yourself some grace. I knew going in that I said, yeah, it's going to take a little while, but your plants will also kind of talk to you by their growth and tell you what's going on as well. So I invite y'all, this is all the saffron over there. You see how it's laying down? So we had saffron in the fall, but this is what we're working on today. So I'm going to go ahead and jump off because I want to go ahead and finish getting everything planted. Over here, I'm going to plant a little bit more lettuce where those broccoli, this is the purple broccoli, where it has flowered. And the reason why I'm going to plant lettuce there, let's move over here because I feel like I can't see. because of the glare of the sun, is because this magnolia tree is right here, and it can offer a little bit of shade. Things, a lot of your leafy greens that you grow, they don't necessarily have to be in full sun. They can really tolerate some shade. And so I'm going to put some more lettuce right here because above me I have the magnolia tree that can offer it a little bit of shade, and hopefully that will kind of help it along and not bolt as quick and go to seed, because you really got to know what grows in your area, and you really got to watch things. And I'm going to walk over here and I'm going to be gone. And the reason why I say that is because this iceberg lettuce that we're growing, I'm going to hurry up and put my supports and cover those, because last year I think I got maybe like 6 iceberg lettuce, but they really went to seed like really quickly, or like bolted really quick. And so I'm gonna have to watch those. But that's the reason why I kind of put them on this raised bed, because of the magnolia tree that can offer it, a little bit of afternoon shade from the leaves. And this is what I put on another post. If you're new to gardening, y'all spend about 24 to 48 hours and really watch where the sun hits where you want to plant. But also remember that the way things look in the summer will be a little bit different in the winter, because the reason why I say that, in the winter time, the sun is lower, and then you also don't have the leaves from the trees as well. And see, all of the leaves, everything is starting to leaf out here. And so it's a difference between the summer and the winter. I'm not telling you to spend a whole year monitoring. Don't do that. Don't do that. But if you want to grow vegetables, just know that it requires about 6 to 8 hours of sun. If you can, try to plant either in the west or south or west. And watch at least for about 24 hours. Watch where the sun is hitting where you want to plant, because you have like, we have trees, and we have different things that we have to account for as well. Some people might call them windbreaks. Our mulberry tree over there is starting to leaf out. Then I don't know what's wrong with that little arborvitae tree, but I'm not worried about that right now. But we have things that are still like bare that will eventually get leaves. And so you just want to watch. You want to watch for about 24 to 48 hours. Just watch the sun, watch where it hits. If you're growing vegetables, try to get them on the south or the west side of your property. And just really note that. And again, like I said, when you grow things for leafy greens or herbs, you can get away with less than 6 hours, because you're growing them for the leaves and you're not growing them for like the fruit, so they don't need as much sun. And sometimes that little part shade in the summer, depending on where you're at, or in the spring, sometimes that could really be beneficial to a lot of your leafy greens. But since we're growing, this garden is what's considered west, we are going to go ahead and put the shade cloths. We're going to watch the temperature, especially on a lot of our leafy greens. If we start to creep back up probably into the upper 70s, 80s, we'll start to put our shade cloth back on, because I don't want them to bolt with the fluctuation of temperatures. I don't want them to bolt and go to seed. Now, what I will tell y'all is we started seeds for tomatoes, for peppers, for all of that. But your soil temperature matters too. And it's nice, but I'm still not. I'm going to wait. I'll be honest, y'all. I'm going to wait till after Easter to start putting out my heat loving plants. And I'm probably going to give it like whenever Easter is this year, which I think is like early April. I'm probably going to wait like another 2 weeks after because I'm telling y'all, I'm telling y'all, this weather be playing tricks on you. Last week I was so happy and it got up to like 80 something. And I was like, oh, am I really ready for the heat? Because I'm a little hot. I'm getting a little hot here. I'm getting a little hot. And then we had to go back down to Savannah. We just got back yesterday. And y'all, it was even hotter and it was pollen everywhere. It was just a different type of, like the moisture is different. Still the same state, but it's just a difference. And so I'm like, ooh, am I really ready for the heat? I don't know. But I am prepared and I'm ready to put shade cloth on here if we start getting too hot. And like I just told my friend today, and I want y'all to subscribe. If you're not subscribing, I am holding myself to this because we still got a lot of fall planted greens, turnips that I harvested before that snow that we got here in Atlanta, and I put them in the deep freezer. So our deep freezer is full, and I just told my friend today, and we both committed that we're going to start doing a little bit more pressure canning, a little bit more water bath canning, a little bit more preserving. I'm thinking about the freeze dryer. Y'all stay with me. I'll have to really see if am I going to use that. But I am going to do more canning this year. I did some last year, but not as much as I wanted to. But we're gonna kick it up a notch. We're gonna kick it up a notch just because I went to the grocery store again the other day, and I promise y'all, no more than like 3 bags, and we're talking about $100. And I was just only getting like produce and like meat. And I'm just like, what is really going on? So the more vegetables I can grow and preserve and can and do all of that, the better. I want to make sauerkraut too a little bit more this year as well. But I just wanted to show y'all that about building soil. So if y'all don't hear anything else that I say, I got to plant this arugula too. I started this from seed and it's getting to where it needs to come out of here. I sometimes I've gotten to the place now I can look at the plant and I'm like, okay, yeah, it needs to come out. It's need to come out and it needs some nutrients. So I got to get those. I might while I'm talking, I might just plant them right here. We'll find somewhere to put them because I did put some arugula, that same cell tray you saw, that was this arugula. So can y'all see the difference? Once you start gardening, and remember, once you start looking at your plants, you'll start knowing what you need and what you don't need to do. So this needs to come out of here. This I started from seed and it's starting to need nutrients. I'm looking at the color of the leaves. These empty cells right here are this. So can you see the difference? Like your plants are going to tell you, pay attention to your plants. They're going to tell you, these are screaming, you need to hurry up and get me out these cell trays. And these are like, we're doing great and it's good and we can spread our roots and stuff like that. So I'm glad I just walked by that and saw it because I am going to, let me see, we got 5 places and I planted these about 6 inches apart. This is another one that I leaf off of. I can just come out here and I can get the leaves. But to be honest, y'all, I am serious. I might just take them where they were and just put them up here by the chives and by the yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do because I just want to get them out of here. These need nutrients like really bad. But remember, healthy soil, build your soil. The first thing I can say, get a soil test done if you haven't had one done before, because just because you put fertilizer or nutrients or slow release or whatever, you may not need that. And too much can be damaging to the soil as well as too little or not enough. So start there. Go to your agriculture extension office, let them do a soil test, let them tell you what you need, and over time, just keep working with it. I do know that I have to constantly put lime in, and then I think I'll have to go back and look. I think it was like a little bit of phosphorus as well, but I at least had a starting point. And I did the raised beds, y'all. I did my in-ground, and I also did a lot of my containers because a lot of people ask me, when with my containers, like, do I reuse the soil? And soil is getting really expensive. Like, I would tell people that's one of my biggest costs when it comes to gardening. It's not necessarily the plants or the seeds, it's the soil. And so if I don't have any diseases, any funguses or anything, I will reuse the soil. But what I'll do is I'll top it off with like more compost and different nutrients like that. And then I'll put like the slow release fertilizer in there. Like I don't just get rid of the, even with the annuals, I just don't dump out the whole thing. And here's a great example right here. So these were violas in here. I didn't have any diseases or anything like that. So I am going to pull out, y'all know I don't like to call them weeds, but I'm going to pull these out, the plants that I don't want to grow in here. And so what I'm going to do, put a little bit of slow release fertilizer in here, top it with probably about a 1/2 inch of compost, and we're going to plant in that. Like, I'll be buying soil all day if I'm like just constantly like emptying out the soil. And I didn't have any diseases. I didn't have any funguses in here. I just planted an annual. And so I'm just going to work the soil with my garden spade, add in some nutrients, add in some more potting soil, and we're going to pot those. That's how I do it. With these containers right here, they're starting to get their new growth on here. And so I'm going to remove the wood chips. I'm going to top it off with slow release fertilizer, put a layer of compost on there. Like, we can't be dumping out soil if it's nothing wrong. Soil is getting expensive, y'all. I just had to buy a few bags the other day of potting soil, and I'm like, yeah, soil's getting really expensive here, so we got to do what we need to do. But the good thing is my green onions are popping up on this side too. So again, y'all, hit the subscribe button. Probably Sunday, I'm gonna really try very, very hard to have that raised bed garden tour up, or the garden tour part 1 raised bed. I'm gonna have that up hopefully Sunday. But I'm also going to show you, even if it comes back, this was the last bed we planted and I finished up today. Y'all see I got diatomaceous earth on there. But look, this is, sometimes plants can go through transplant shock. Sometimes they can act like they don't want to make it, because I'm like, look, it's not the moisture in the soil. The soil is nice and moist, but it act like it's going through some things. And so we'll give it a couple days to get itself together. But normally I'll get a little bit more than usual. I don't have any more pink snapdragons, so we just gonna put something else there. We're not gonna worry about it. And I can already see a little pest pressure right here. Do y'all see it? A little pest pressure right here, little pest pressure right here. But that's okay. I'm gonna get the sluggo and I'm gonna sprinkle the in. And do y'all remember our nasturtiums that we started from seed, and how I shared with y'all how I kind of germinate, make sure mine has a better germination? So we just planted those there. But I'm excited to show y'all like all of the raised beds, all 8 of them. And then we'll do that as part 1. So I hope y'all have an amazing weekend. Let me get these last few things planted, and hit the subscribe button if you're not subscribed. And that way you can get, and make sure you hit the bell too, so that you can get the notifications. And we'll have a longer video, because I've been doing a lot of shorts trying to give a lot of tips, because it's spring season, it's gardening season. A lot of people want to grow, but I'm going to have a longer video coming out for y'all this weekend. So stay tuned, y'all. Be safe. We'll talk again soon. Bye, y'all.